Hello all, welcome to PSIR Analytica. I am Nikhil Gowda, the InsightsIAS PSIR and International Relations faculty. So today we'll be discussing again two questions, probable questions which can come in the exam. So let us look into the first question, what is there, and let us look how to approach this question. The question is that discuss the impact of the evolving conditions in India's neighborhood and its impact on the strategic and security interest. So here when we look at the key aspect of the question, they're asking what is the impact of the evolving conditions in India's neighborhood and how it is going to have an impact on India's strategic and security interest. So friends, for this question, you can start your introduction with a quote by the former Prime Minister, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So you can say the former Indian Prime Minister, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee had said, one can choose friends but not neighbors. So this can be one of your introduction. Then you can say geography is a key determinant in a foreign policy. And you can say the geographical developments or developments in your neighboring country is bound to have impact on India's strategic and security interest. So given introduction speaking about what is the importance of geography or geographical location, so that you can introduce to the concept that geography is also a key determinant in the Indian foreign policy, because this has been asked, the question has been asked in the direction of that how or what is the role of geography in that. Now they are asking you what is the impact of the evolving conditions in India's neighborhood. So you can say South Asia, according to Hillary Clinton, is considered to be one of the most dangerous places. And it is also one of the least integrated region in the world. And the whole region suffers from insecurity dilemma. So these are the keywords that one can use in the answer. Now you come to the point is that saying that what has been happening in South Asia. So the question is asking about the evolving conditions in India's neighborhood. So if you're good in drawing a map, you can draw a map. I'm not going to draw because I'm not good in map drawing. So to indicate the economic crisis in Sri Lanka, the military coup in Myanmar, the Taliban takeover in Afghanistan, the political and economic instability in Pakistan at large. So you can say currently India's neighborhood is undergoing challenges such as, you can write, the Sri Lankan economic crisis, and you can also write about Pakistan's political crisis and economic crisis, and you can write about Afghanistan is undergoing a political shift with the return back of Taliban, and Myanmar, it has undergone through a military coup. And then you can write about all these flux or all these changes or shifts have both security and strategic impact on India's interest. So one, you can write about the return back of Taliban in Afghanistan will threaten India's 3 billion investments. It will increase the strategic depth of Islamabad, and Pakistan can use Taliban fighters to infiltrate Kashmir. And with return back of Taliban, the threat of revival of narco-terrorism also increases. Secondly, with the military coup in Myanmar in that regard, this creates more space for China to make inroads. And China can use Myanmar to create problems in India's northeast. As we can say, the insurgency in northeast cannot be curtailed without the Myanmar support. And third impact, you can say, with the Sri Lankan economic crisis, it is also going to create refugee problem for India, especially with the Tamilian refugees who come into the state of Tamil Nadu in that regard. And Sri Lankan economic crisis will also push India to, we have to give some kind of economic aid to Sri Lanka. And currently, this puts the threat again of Sri Lanka for greater Chinese debt trap, and will give a momentum to what we call a string of pearls. Fourthly, we can say a weakened Pakistan will also lead to greater dependence on Beijing, and Beijing might use Pakistan as a proxy, and India might face the two-front war, and also the terror groups might use the situation to create more problems at the border. But then you can say, write about how India needs to respond to it. So one, you try to link the concept of the net security provider. You can give the Sri Lankan example. Then you can speak about India should also exercise more pragmatic policies and maintain strategic silence or silent diplomacy with respect to Myanmar in that regard. And we are also following more pragmatic policies of engagement with Taliban in that regard. So you can write about India is pursuing the policy of engage Taliban, but we are not endorsing Taliban. So then you can write about, in overall, what you can say is that South Asia, this you can use it as a conclusion. You can say South Asia serves as a litmus test for India to emerge as a regional and a global power. This you can use as your conclusion. So here, more importantly, don't worry about if you have not included any scholars in that regard. Just try to link few concepts and try to link the recent current developments what are there, and try to address the demand of the question. Largely the demand of the question is that what is going to be the implication on India's strategic and security interest. But also you can say this creates an opportunity for India to emerge as a net security provider and strengthen its image of a regional and a global power. So with this, let's move into the next question. This is on comparative politics. The question is that compare and contrast the political sociology and political economic approach. So you have to write in for 10 marks, 150 words, so you have to be very brief. So friends, what is the best way to approach this question? So as a structure, what you can do is that try to introduce about the idea of comparative politics. Try to say comparative politics is a branch of political science, which deals with comparison of different political systems and the study of different approaches to study of politics, So in a simple way, something like this you can write as an introduction. Then you can say the post Second World War, with decolonization and emergence of many third world countries, the traditional approaches were not suitable to understand politics. Hence, this gave birth to the modern approaches in the field of comparative politics. And two major modern approaches are political economic approach and political sociology. Now don't try to, because it's 150 words, don't try to explain both separately and in a very broader way. Instead of that, first try to write what is common in both the approaches. One, you can say both are modern approaches. Both are interdisciplinary, and both help in understanding the politics of the, or study of politics of the third world countries. But then you can write, however, there are certain differences in both the approaches. One, you can say in political economic approach, it mainly focuses on what we can say of the overlapping areas between politics and economics, whereas in political sociology approach, it mainly focuses on study of politics and society. Second, you can say the important proponents of political economic approach, starting from Kautilya, Adam Smith, and the popular proponents of political sociology approach you can take is Aristotle, and you can say Atul Kohli. Third, you can say that in political economic approach, we more focus on the economic policies brought by the state. And here in political sociological approach, we will largely study about the interaction between the state and caste, gender, religion. But you can say, however, the both approaches has been criticized, especially the political sociological approach by Theda Skopal, who called saying that bring back the state. Because in a way, both the approaches made politics secondary to economics and society. But however, the study of political science, what we can say, begins and should always end with the state. So this is what something you can write as part of your answer. So in a 10 marker question, please don't go on to explain what is political economy. Right? They're asking you to compare and contrast. So try to give an introduction about what is the modern comparative politics, then go into seeing how they are similar in nature. Then you can also go into that how they are different, and try to conclude your answer by saying that in both the approaches, politics is given a secondary role, Thedas Gopal feels that politics is being undermined. Hence, the study of political science always begins and ends with the state, and that is why she gives a call for bring back the state. So these are the elements which you can write in your answer, and always don't worry about including all the content. It is more about structuring, that is more important. And always look at the question and try to, in a calm way, try to think what are the points you can articulate. Don't try to rush into including all the points. When you try to include all the points, you will miss the structure. So that is the one thing you have to keep in your mind. So with this, we'll come to an end to today's session. Again, I wish you the very best for the exam. Keep your calm, hold your nerves, and obviously you're going to do well if you're able to remain calm in that regard. And don't worry about the last minute revision, etc. Calmness is the key to success. So again, we'll meet in the next session with 2 more questions. Thank you. Take care.